You ever get that feeling, like you know she wants you, you see the signs, you feel the energy, you catch the stares, the extra long glances, the way she lights up when you walk by, she's clearly interested. But the phone never rings, the DM never pings, the message never comes, and you're left wondering, if she wants me, why isn't she saying something? Let's break the silence, let's get honest, because yes, women crave you. But there are 6 real reasons why they never contact you. You're not just attractive, you're intimidating. And I need you to sit with that for a moment, because most men don't realize the power they carry when they finally stop chasing, stop performing, and start standing in their calm, grounded masculine energy. That kind of energy, it shakes the room, it changes the atmosphere, it makes people lean in, especially women. But here's the truth, while it draws her in, it also makes her hesitate, it makes her question herself. Because you're not the type of guy who needs validation. You're not throwing out breadcrumbs for attention. You're not desperate, loud, or flashy. You're composed. You walk into a room and own it without saying a word. You hold your posture, you make eye contact, and you don't flinch. You're fully present, yet detached. And for a woman who hasn't yet fully stepped into her own confidence, you can feel like a mirror she's not ready to face. She looks at you and starts thinking, what if I message him and he doesn't respond? What if he's way out of my league? What if he thinks I'm just another girl? Those thoughts come flooding in, not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence alone triggers her insecurities. It forces her to confront whether she actually feels worthy of the kind of man who's not easily impressed, because you don't just give attention freely, you're selective, and that scares her, that makes her second. Guess every little thing. She replays the way you looked at her. She replays that one conversation or moment when your energies collided. She knows something was there. She felt it. But your silence, your stillness, it messes with her. Because, unlike the men who chase her endlessly, you're not offering instant validation. And that means she has to wonder. Women are used to being pursued. They're used to men showing all their cards up front. But when you sit back, when you don't bite the bait, she starts thinking there must be something wrong with her. Why hasn't he said anything? Why won't he just make a move? And then the self-doubt creeps in. She starts shrinking. She starts talking herself out of even trying. She convinces herself that you probably have a dozen women lined up, that someone like you doesn't even notice someone like her. Even if she's strong, successful, beautiful, if she's not fully centered in herself, that energy you carry can feel too big, too pure, too real. So instead of reaching out, she pulls back. She admires you from a distance. Watches your stories, checks your feed, brings you up in conversations with her girls. But contact, that requires a level of confidence she's still building. Because deep down, she knows you're not the kind of man who entertains drama, small talk, or games. You're intentional, and intention means risk of being seen, risk of being judged, risk of not measuring up. We're in a time where women are told to be bold, to go for what they want, to take the lead in life. And they're doing it in careers, in education, in business. But when it comes to romance, something shifts. The same woman who'll walk into a boardroom and own the space might suddenly freeze when it comes to making the first move with a man she's genuinely interested in. Not because she's playing hard to get, not because she doesn't know what she wants, but because deep down, she still wants to feel chosen. That desire to be pursued, to be wanted without asking, runs deeper than most people are willing to admit. It's not weakness, it's wiring. It's years of social programming, years of watching women be ridiculed for being too forward or too easy, when they're the ones to initiate. So even when she's drawn to you, even when her heart is screaming for your attention, she waits. She waits for you to notice her. She waits for you to say something, to open the door, to give her permission to express what she's been holding back. Because when a woman truly wants a man, there's often this inner tug-of-war. She wants to reach out, yes, but she also wants to know that you see her, that you chose her, not because she chased you down, but because something in her energy, in her essence, made you stop and say, I want her. That kind of validation means something different. It speaks to a part of her that wants to feel safe, adored, claimed without begging for it, so she drops hints, she engages just enough to keep herself in your orbit. She'll like your photos, laugh at your jokes, maybe even ask a question or two in conversation, but then she backs off. Not because she's lost interest, not at all. She's trying to create a space for you to step in. She's giving you room to lead, and when you don't, when you hold back, stay silent, or give her nothing but polite energy, she starts pulling away, not because she's uninterested, but because she thinks you are. She doesn't want to embarrass herself by reaching out first and getting rejected. She doesn't want to make herself vulnerable for someone who might not feel the same, and so she puts her desire on hold. She stays on her side of the fence, hoping, maybe even praying, that you'll cross the line. It's not about playing games. It's not about being difficult. It's about protection, self-respect, that quiet, invisible line between craving connection and preserving pride. So even if she checks her phone wondering if maybe, just maybe, there's a message from you, she won't be the one to send it, because in her heart she's still hoping you'll be the one to say, hey, I see you, I feel it too, let's talk. And until that happens, she sits with the craving in silence. There's this pressure women feel, a pressure that's buried deep beneath the surface, yet it influences almost every romantic move they make. It's the fear of being seen as too available. Society has built this narrative around what it means to be a desirable woman. She has to be wanted, but not wanting. She has to be pursued, but not too easy to catch. So even when she's deeply interested in a man, even when her heart races at the thought of him, she holds back. Not because she doesn't feel anything, but because she feels too much and showing it would be considered a mistake. She's been taught that the minute she reaches out first, she risks being labeled needy, desperate, or thirsty. And no woman wants that. No woman wants to be seen as the one who tried too hard. So she starts playing a silent game of restraint. She deletes the message before sending it. She types, then erases. She tells herself if he wanted to talk to me, he would. Not because she believes it, but because she's scared. She's scared that being honest about her interest will backfire, that instead of being met with excitement or curiosity, she'll be met with silence or worse, judgment. She wants to reach out, she really does, but the fear of being misunderstood or looking like she's chasing a man stops her every single time. Even in moments where everything in her is screaming for connection, she tells herself to be patient, to wait, to let him initiate. She listens to the voices that say, don't text first, don't double message, don't make it obvious, because somewhere along the line she learned that the more interested she appears, the less desirable she becomes. So now desire feels like danger, craving feels like weakness, and the woman who wants to reach out ends up staying silent, not because she lacks courage, but because she's trying to protect her image. She may watch your stories, like your pictures, laugh at your reels, and hope you notice the trail of subtle signals she's leaving behind, but she won't make it easy, not because she wants to be difficult, but because she feels she has to be. Because the world has told her that her value is tied to how hard she is to get, that if she makes it too easy, she'll lose her worth in your eyes. And this is the mind trap so many women fall into, wanting love, but being afraid to show it, needing connection, but being terrified to be the one to initiate it, so she stays stuck in the middle. Craving you, thinking about you, imagining what it would be like to just say, hey, I was thinking about you today, but holding it all back to avoid looking like she's too eager. Even if everything in her heart is pulling her in your direction, she forces herself to stay still, to play it cool, to pretend she's not feeling what she's really feeling sometimes. The reason she doesn't reach out has nothing to do with you and everything to do with how she sees herself. You could be everything she wants, grounded, intentional, emotionally present, focused. But instead of drawing her closer, it makes her question whether she even belongs in your world. She looks at the way you carry yourself, the way you move without needing anyone's approval, the way you seem to know who you are, and suddenly she starts to doubt if she's enough. Not because you made her feel that way, but because somewhere deep inside she hasn't fully claimed her own worth yet. She sees your calm, your clarity, your confidence, and she wonders if she even has the emotional capacity to be with a man like you. She may be in a season of healing. Maybe she's coming out of a relationship that broke her. Maybe she's rebuilding her self-esteem, trying to understand herself better. Maybe she's still carrying wounds that no one sees, wounds that whisper lies like you're not good enough, you're too much, or you don't bring anything to the table. And so even though she wants to connect, even though she feels that tug every time your name pops up on her feed or in her mind, she talks herself out of it. She thinks, why would a man like that be interested in someone like me? He probably has his life together. What do I even have to offer? That inner dialogue becomes the wall between you and the message she never sends. This isn't about insecurity in the surface level way people throw that word around. This is about deep-rooted self-perception. She's not thinking she's unattractive or unworthy of love in general, but the version of love she sees in you, the kind that feels stable, emotionally intelligent, and mature. That's a love she might not believe she's earned yet. So she distances herself not because she doesn't care, but because she respects the kind of energy you carry and feels like she hasn't matched it yet. It's a form of self-protection dressed up as self-awareness. She'd rather admire you from a distance than risk stepping into your world and feeling like an imposter. And here's the hardest part. She might never tell you this. You'll just experience her silence, her hesitation, her seen messages that never get followed up, and you'll wonder if she was even into you at all. Meanwhile, she's sitting with a heart full of emotion, overthinking every possible scenario, trying to convince herself that maybe one day she'll be more ready, more healed, more complete, because in her eyes, you don't just represent romance, you represent a different level, and being drawn to a different level forces her to ask if she's ready to grow, or if it's safer to stay where she is. So instead of risking exposure, she settles for distance. She convinces herself that silence is better than rejection, that admiration is safer than being fully seen, and that the craving she feels is something she'll just have to quietly live with. Sometimes she doesn't reach out, not because she isn't interested, but because she's confused. And that confusion, it often starts with you asterisk. You think you're being neutral, or maybe just protecting your own feelings, but to her it feels like mixed signals. One day you're warm, you're open, you're fully present. She sees the way you look at her, the way your energy shifts when she walks into the room. Maybe you even flirt a little, just enough to spark her hope. Then you pull back, you go quiet, you act like nothing happened, and now she's stuck in her head, wondering what any of it meant. She replays your conversations, analyzes your tone, overthinks every glance and every word. She starts asking herself, did I imagine the connection? Was he just being nice? Was I reading into something that wasn't there? Because as much as women feel, they also need clarity. When you move in and out of emotional availability, intentionally or not, it puts her in a state of constant second guessing. She doesn't know whether to move forward or fall back. She doesn't want to chase someone who's unsure, and at the same time, she doesn't want to miss out on something that might be real. But when your actions don't match your energy, she assumes you're not serious. You may think staying mysterious makes you more appealing, more in control, but what it really does is make her feel unsafe, and no woman leans into a connection that feels unsafe, no matter how attracted she is. She needs to feel a sense of emotional certainty, something she can trust, something she can respond to without wondering if she's walking into rejection. You might not even realize the mixed messages you're sending. Maybe you're just naturally reserved. Maybe you've been hurt before and this is your way of staying guarded, or maybe you genuinely like her but you're afraid of coming on too strong, so you give her just enough to keep the possibility open, but not enough for her to feel confident stepping in. What you don't see is that she's sitting there with a storm of emotions she doesn't know what to do with. She's picking up on your vibe, but your silence afterward makes her feel foolish for believing in it, so she protects herself. She chooses distance over discomfort. She decides not to reach out, not because she doesn't want to, but because she no longer knows where she stands with you. To you, it may feel like you're just playing it cool, but to her it feels like whiplash. One moment there's fire, the next there's fog, and no woman wants to walk blindfolded into someone's emotional world. She needs something steady, even if it's subtle, something she can respond to with confidence, not confusion. When that's missing, she'll stay silent, not out of disinterest, but because she refuses to chase a signal that keeps changing shape every time she gets close. There's something else you may not realize. Sometimes she doesn't reach out because she believes that if a man truly wants her, he'll come for her, not in the fairy tale way we see in movies, but in the quiet, consistent way that shows real intent. She's been through enough to know that chasing someone rarely leads to anything stable. She's had her heart toyed with by men who only wanted her when it was convenient. She's opened up to people who seemed interested one moment and disappeared the next. So now, she's learned to sit back and observe, to watch your actions, not your potential, to see whether you're genuinely interested or just momentarily entertained. This doesn't make her cold, it makes her cautious. Her silence isn't rejection, it's a filter, a way of protecting her space from anyone who isn't willing to truly show up. She craves emotional leadership, and no, that doesn't mean she's waiting for someone to control her or dominate her life. It means she's waiting for someone who can confidently take the first step, someone who makes it clear that he knows what he wants, and isn't afraid to express it. Because when a man initiates with clarity, it tells her he's not playing games. It tells her he's not confused. It tells her she doesn't have to guess. That level of direction brings safety, and safety is what allows her to open up fully. Without that, she stays guarded. She sits in the tension between desire and doubt, wondering if reaching out would just lead to disappointment again. It's not about ego, it's not about pride, it's about peace. She wants to know that if she opens that door, someone will be standing on the other side ready to walk in, not someone who's going to make her feel like she took a risk for nothing. So even when she's thinking about you, even when she wants to hear your voice or send a simple message just to say hello, she waits, not because she doesn't care, but because she wants to see if you do, and if you don't, she takes that silence as her answer. You might think she's being passive, but she's actually being intentional. She's creating room for the right kind of connection, the kind that doesn't make her question her worth or chase someone's attention. The kind that starts with a man who knows who he is and what he's looking for. So if you're wondering why she hasn't reached out, don't assume it's because she doesn't feel anything. Sometimes her silence isn't a lack of emotion, it's a quiet request. Asterisk, if you want me, come get me, show me you're sure. Asterisk.